Yo, what's good YouTube? ZAMCRO here, aka Scoot, back with the International Trainers League, and we've got the post-week 1 ITL Scott Take. So I talked about some new things coming for the ITL analyst playlist that I'm making for season 8, potentially more, but definitely doing all of season 8, having a lot of fun analyzing this stuff and taking a deeper look at the ITL and stuff. Anyway, so we've got the Scott Take. And what the Scott Take is going to be is I'm going to be going over who I think, I'm going to talk about the top 3 worst plays of the week and the top 3 hot sets of the week. So, yeah, I suppose, what should we start with, the good or the bad? The good sets or the hot play, or the worst plays? I think we'll start off with the worst plays. Alright, so we got the top 3 worst plays this week, and how am I going to do this? How do I want to talk about it? I guess we can hop into a replay and talk about it from there. I'm not really sure how I'm going to do this yet, so, and these analyst videos are off the dome. These are not scripted or anything like that, so sometimes I ramble, sometimes I have brain farts, so please bear with me amongst the season 8 of the ITL. Anyways, let's go ahead and hop into the top 8, or the top 3 worst plays of week 1. Alright, so to start us off here, we have the 3rd worst play of the game, in my opinion. Or not of the game, but of week 1. In my opinion, this was the 3rd worst play of the week. So what we have here is Helmy versus Carson, and on turn 1 they both led with their Landerses, and Landers Incarnate went for the Hidden Power Ice as Landers Therian pulled a switch into the Keldeo, and the Hidden Power Ice bounced off. So Keldeo actually goes for Substitute as the Landers pulls a switch out into the Gothitelle. The Gothitelle then has the Keldeo trapped and starts to use it as setup fodder. As you can see, it's got up to +6/+6 Calm Minds, and back to full even, and Keldeo is not even behind the sub at this point. So what's going to happen is Keldeo goes for the Secret Sword. Gothitelle eliminates the Keldeo, and now here's where the worst play of the game comes in. Helmy goes into Jirachi, which is a good play. This is actually not Jirachi, this is Zoroark, so it's even a better play. And he's baiting the Shadow Ball, and he knows his Zoroark can potentially live 1 Shadow Ball. So the play here with your Zoroark is to click Knockoff. And he clicks Low Kick, making a prediction. I don't know what he was predicting. I don't know if he thought Snorlax was the switch into Jirachi or something. He was going for a big Low Kick on the Snorlax. Low Kick was the worst play possible on this turn, in my opinion. I think Knock, as you're going to see, does quite a bit of damage. Knockoff would have been an easy 2-hit KO versus the Gothitelle, and you would survive. But as you see, this Jirachi, who is the Zoroark, takes 72%, and the following Knockoff isn't able to knock out the Gothitelle after the Low Kick. So what in the fuck was that Low Kick? I don't know. It cost Helmy his Zoroark, which effectively, or means that Gothitelle effectively took out 2 Mons. And the only good thing that comes from this is Helmy gets to go into his Jirachi and click Power Up Punch. Nets the knockout, gets to +1 attack, but the Landorus comes in and forces it out anyway. So that just made, you got absolutely nothing out of that play. Had you clicked Knocked Off twice with the Zoroark, you would have still had your Zoroark at what, 35% or so, whatever it was at, 25 to 30% or something, and it would have been 5-5 still. And now you're down 4-6, or yeah, 4-6, and Landers Incarnate just goes ham at this point because the Zoroark and the Keldeo were the only 2 things to outpace and knock, get some damage off. The Zoroark had an Ice Beam, and the Keldeo had Surf, obviously. So yeah, I just think that was the number 3 worst play of the week, and we can go ahead and hop into the 2nd worst play of the week, in my opinion. Alright, so the 2nd worst play, in my opinion, comes from the Gypsy King Marin Varin game. where on turn 2, well, turn 1, they both led with their electric types and volt switched out. Magneton getting the first volt switch, so the Rotom and Marion actually got the momentum out of the turn, got the initiative, where Gypsy brought in his Kyurem Black. Marion was actually able to bring in his Lycanroc and can fire off a huge Stone Edge here. I guess normally you would think a Stone Edge would knock out a Kyurem Black, but this Kyurem Black is max HP, max defense, bold nature, so it's actually able to eat one Stone Edge and probably 2-hit KO'd. Regardless, Kyurem Black is a huge threat to any team. It doesn't matter if you have Licky Licky, which could potentially wall it pretty effectively, or a Scizor, which could, revenge kill it with +2 Bullet Punch or something like that. Your opponent has a Magneton. It can trap your Steel types. Your opponent has an unknown Magearna set, which could potentially set up and disable Licky Licky 100%. Lots of different things could happen here, and I think not attacking and getting up Stealth Rocks with your Lycanroc is... It's not necessarily a bad play. It don't work out though, so that makes it a bad play. I know you can look at certain things in certain ways, and if a play works out, it's the tech, and if it didn't work out, it's a meme and you choked or something. But Lycanroc goes for rocks, and not only that, so it's going to take, instead of going for Stone Edge and getting potentially big damage off, and first of all, you can crit a Stone Edge too. It has a higher critical hit ratio. So we could have potentially, with a crit, knocked out this Kyurem Black. And a huge threat would have been lifted off Marion's shoulders. But instead, he goes for his rocks here. And I'm assuming on this turn, he's going to predict Gypsy to switch out into something like Magearna or Gligar. And he's going to go out into his Rotom Wash, but Gypsy's going to stay in with his Kyurem twice and neutralize Lycanroc and Rotom Wash, basically. And I think this 2-turn series, in which it could have, 2-hit KO'd Kyurem Black, man, and this Kyurem Black ended up being a huge annoyance, a huge nuisance for Marion in the late game as well, where he had multiple missed opportunities. We're going to pause it here and talk about that for a second as well. Alright, so later on in the match, as you can see, Marion's able to match up his Victini versus Kyurem Black, and at this range, Victini can knock out the Kyurem. Obviously, we don't know how fast it is and things like that, but you shouldn't bring a Victini to a match and have it slower than a Kyurem, first of all. And second of all, knocking out this Kyurem here, the only bad thing that's going to happen is you don't have Victini to immediately threaten Magearna. But Magearna's play is either going to be to Trick Room or Shift Gear Up anyway. So hard switching in a 14% Victini is not a check anymore. And if you're saving Victini so that you have the immediate threat to Magearna, it's not necessarily going to work. You're going to have to position yourself to where Magearna can't come in unless it comes in toe-to-toe with Victini. Switching in Victini is not going to work, and once Magearna either sets up a Trick Room or a Shift Gear, it's not going to work either. So the play here is to knock out this Kyurem Black. But he switches out into Scizor here, as the Kyurem's able to roost up. So Kyurem's staying a threat, staying a nuisance. Roost is up again. And now the Scizor's not even going to go for Bullet Punch. It's going to click Knockoff. And, yeah, takes 30% there and gets a Spadef drop. And then U-turns out. As you see how slow Kyurem is here, the Scizor's actually going first. And Kyurem's going to be able to roost up again. I think this series of plays, these plays, missing out on the opportunity to knock out Kyurem Black is it's just too much to bear, really. It was hard to watch. Kieran Black's a huge threat in any format, and just watching Marion not attack it multiple times, despite his reasoning, was just really, really hard for me to watch. And I think this is going to be deserved of the number 2 spot on the worst plays of the week for week 1. Anyways, we're going to hop on off this and hop into the first worst play, first ranked worst play of the week, in my opinion. So let's go ahead and hop into that. Alright, so in my opinion, the worst play of week 1 was here in the New Orleans Faints taking on the Reno Reggies, where the Reno Reggies have got their Mega Kingscon to plus 2 with power up punch on the incoming Toxapex, and is able to hit KO with return. So here's where the worst play of the week comes in my opinion. This Charizard comes in and could potentially speed tie with a Mega Kang. Now I know this Mega Kang revealed to be quite bulky earlier on the Surf from Greninja, so he may not think it's max speed, but regardless, the play here is to always attack. If you attack Mega Kang, you can put it in range of Greninja, and you will have Specs Ash Greninja all game, unless you get your item knocked off. And not only that, and if you look at Greninja versus his squad, you know Weak and Muck, and then Greninja's going ham, absolutely ham. Second of all, Flare Blitz into Flare Blitz should knock out the Kang. Dragon Claw into Dragon Claw could potentially knock out the Kang. So I think the play here is to always attack. If Mega Kang goes for return here, as you Dragon Dance, you lose. Or you lose Charizard anyway. And I don't see any way to revenge kill the Mega Kang at that point without prior damage. So Dragon Dance in here is the dumbest dance I have ever saw in my fucking life. This Charizard goes for a Dragon Dance. So had Eric stayed in attack, Charizard would be gone no matter what set it is. I'm pretty sure max HP, max defense, Charizard drops to a +2 return from Mega Kang. And had you attacked, you would have Chip on this Tyrantrum. And this Tyrantrum is screaming Habanberry right now, or Focus Sash, one of the two. Meaning it's either going to be a double down here, or Tyrantrum. At worst, it's going to be a double down, and at worst for Eric, it will be a double down. At best for Nova, it will be a double down. But at worst for Nova, this is Habanberry and eats this Dragon Claw, which is going to be what happens. So effectively, this Charizard did nothing. It absolutely did nothing. As you can see, Tyrantrum doesn't have another role in the game. It wasn't needed for Cresselia, it wasn't needed for the Raikou, it wasn't needed for Gliscor. It's outsped by Greninja and Raikou, probably Gliscor as well. And yeah, it 100% did its purpose, and Charizard basically did nothing. It did nothing this match. It Dragon Danced up and died. Sure, it got Chip on this Tyrantrum, but the Tyrantrum at this point it wasn't needed. At this point, Tyrantrum is to better your position later in the match by saving it as sack fodder. So now he's effectively able to go into Greninja here, or excuse me, Alolan Muck, save the Tyrantrum for the late game. You can sack it off to Greninja, you can sack it off to Gliscor, whatever. But yeah, I just think that was probably the dumbest dance I ever saw Charizard go for. And that's going to be it for the worst plays of the week. So yeah, we can, I guess, go back to the homepage of the graphics or whatever for the ITL, and we'll talk about, the best, or the top 3 hot sets. We'll talk about those a little bit before we actually jump into them. Okay, so we've got we just went over the top 3 worst plays in the week, of my opinion, for week 1. That's my opinion, obviously. I guess everybody has their own opinions there. Number 3 was low kick, low damage, low IQ by Helmy. Number 2 by Marin Varen was missed opportunities to melt the cube. And the number 1 worst play was the dumb dance. Alright, so we got those out of the way. Now it's time to talk about the hot sets of the week. Now, hot sets don't necessarily mean, somebody built a set it didn't show off, but it was a hot set. No, no, no. These sets have to apply some kind of factor in the game. They gotta either be a game changer or something that just worked out really well in that matchup particularly. Anyways, we'll hop into those. I don't think I'm going to do honorable mentions. I think I'm just going to do the top three, and always just do the top three. And yeah, I guess we can go ahead and hop into number one. Alright, so in my opinion, and I know I said the number one, but this is actually number three on the list. Number three for the top three hot sets of the week, we have Mega Kangaskhan here coming from Eric and his Reno Regis. This Mega Kang has already, okay, so what it did was, it's a Wish, Protect, Power Up Punch, and Return. I'm not sure what Novahawk's entire squad is. I'm assuming he doesn't have a resist to the return, so that's why this set was really, really, really optimal in this matchup. Just 2 attacks with Power Up Punch for the boost, Return to knock the hell out of everything, and then Wish Protect for, you know, passing wishes, and not only that, for just itself longevity, self-preservation and stuff. So earlier in the match, he was able to click Power Up Punch as Toxapex came in. Toxapex then dropped to 2 returns, and now at this point in the match, Mega Kangaskhan just come in on a predicted Earthquake, eat up the Earthquake, and throw off a Wish, and immediately goes for the Power Up Punch as the Cresselia comes in. So it gets a +2 here, gets its Wish back, and now is able to easily 2-hit KO this Cresselia. Almost OHKO'd it, but thanks to Toxic from earlier, it will be an OHKO there. And now he's forced into his Gliscor here because the Greninja can still not knock out the Mega Kang. And yeah, his play here at this point is to go into Gliscor and click Fire Fang. So imagine your play being to burn something with Fire Fang. That's how good this set was. He does get the burn, and he gets a flinch as well, but that's not going to make a difference here. This set for Mega Kang is so good. It's just going to be able to Power Up Punch. It's going to get to +4, I believe, which with the burn is essentially +2. And once that happens, he's going to be able to catch some wishes here, put himself in a position to easily 2-hit KO Gliscor, I believe. Well, it does have Roost, so it's going to take a little bit of time, I suppose. But the main idea here was, I guess, to get it in Greninja range, not really try to outlast the Kang, because it's just about impossible at +2. And then, however, it is in range of Greninja now. But yeah, that's going to be the number 3 hot set of the week, in my opinion. So we've got Power Up Punch, Wish Protect, kind of a fat but very offensive Mega Kang. And yeah, in my opinion, that's going to be, there wasn't too many hot sets that were shown off this week. So that's why this is on here, even though it doesn't seem too special or anything like that. It was super effective, and it's going to be the number 3 hot week of the week, and we can go ahead and move into number 2. Alright, so here at the number 2 hot set of the week, we have this Kieran Black from, you know, Gypsy's build and his Sydney Sharpedos. So earlier in the match, Kieran Black stayed in twice on a Lycanroc. Ate up a Volt Switch earlier, and I'm pretty sure it's effectively taken on Victini's blue flares. At least ate one of them. So this thing has revealed quite a bit of bulk in this matchup, and it's allowed him to play super aggressively with it. He was almost able to net a knockout on the Lycanroc and the Rotom Wash, and he took a few hits from Licky Licky and tried to sub until it revealed its set. And now it's facing off against a Mega Scizor and is at a type disadvantage and doesn't have any coverage for this Mega Scizor. But watch what it does thanks to its build. And mind you, I believe this is kind of like a Bulu check, as Bulu with like abandoned Bulu's doing, it's like bouncing off of this cube. And even if it had superpower, this Kieran Black has a Chople Berry. So it's max HP, bold, natured, max defense with a Chople Berry, Ice Beam, Earth Power, Sub, and Roost. Has nothing to hit this Kieran for super effective damage, but nonetheless, it Roost up as the Scizor goes for the Swords Dance. Now watch this damage here. +2 knockoff. It doesn't even do half, as it knocked off an item. Now the Scizor is going to reveal U-turn and +2 U-turn from a technician boosted Mega Scissor at +2 does not even do half to this Kieran Black. This Kieran Black has been able to play so aggressive and effectively that this set, even though the Choppleberry didn't come into play, even though it hasn't netted a knockout or anything like that, it's put in so much work being able to, make these aggressive plays, being able to get damage off staying in versus things it shouldn't be staying in against, and then able to switch out into the McGearna here, which is, essentially the move that set up the game, as McGearna is going to be able to, shift gear up here and win from this point. But yeah, this fat Kieran Black, it stayed in on a Lycan Rock twice in a row. It lived a blue flare from Victini. It lived a +2 knockoff into a +2 U-turn from a Mega Scissor. And it's just insane. Like, I know the set doesn't seem all too cool. It doesn't have any cool text. It just had a Choppleberry and it's really fat. But it was so effective. And I didn't really expect a fat defensive Kieran Black coming to this matchup. Maybe, it's known for its offensive prowess and just being able to break teams so easily, being one of the best mixed attackers in the game. It has one of the highest attack stats in the game. That it's such a hot set because it was unexpected to me. But yeah, it's going to be it for number 2, and we can actually jump into number 3, and we actually don't even have to switch the replay or anything. We're just going to reset this matchup here, and I'm going to start it. I'm going to go ahead and get it out to where the Licky Licky comes in versus the Kieran Black, and this is going to be the hottest set of the week in my opinion. We've got a Licky Licky here, eating up these attacks from a Kieran Black. Reveals Wish. Doesn't reveal Protect, but it reveals Wish. And it's effectively eating these hits, eating them up. But watch what it does now. Did you see that? Did you see that? Went for Swords Dance. Licky Licky went for fucking Swords Dance. And is going to go for another Swords Dance. So it's at +3 right now. And this Gligar goes for a Curse. And this hot set, it deserved it. It gets a critical hit here. It changes the course of the game, but the set was so hot that the RNG gods came down and blessed it with a critical hit there. I know for competitive players, critical hit's like a curse, but that was a blessing because of the set you brought. Had you brought any other Licky Licky set, you would have been infinitely walled there, and the Curse Gligar would have 100% swept your entire team. It just would have. I'm kidding, it probably wouldn't have, but that Licky Licky set was fire. Wish, Return, and then it finally revealed the Swords Dance. Got up to +2 and gets a critical hit on the Gligar here. And it's actually going to go for Wish against the Magneton here. It's going to be poison, but it goes for the Wish, which is a fine play. Just wanting to scout out what the Mag wanted to go for, I suppose. Goes for the Earthquake on the Torn Switch in. Tornadus is going to go for its Z move here. So I just want to show you guys how bulky this Licky Licky is as well, at the same time as just being a Swords Dance variant. And gave me ideas for my futures of using Licky Licky. In return, able to net 2 knockouts there. That's just phenomenal. Set of the week, hot set of the week, goes to Marin Varin and his Zagreb Zangooses with his Swords Dance Wish Licky Licky. So 2 Swords Dance Wish Mons, normal types, fat as fuck, make the list, and then the Kieran Black. So really nice, and I was really, really entertained this week. But yeah, it's going to be it. Let me know what you guys think on the top 3 sets of the week, the top 3 worst plays of the week. Again, I'm going to go over the top 3, I'll go over that at the homepage though. Alright, so in my opinion, for the post-week 1 Scott Take, now just recapping what I've already went over, so forgive me if I'm a little bit redundant. The top 3 worst plays, in order, from number 3 to number 1, was the low kick, low damage, low IQ play by Helmy, the missed opportunities to melt the cube by Marin Varin, and the dumb dance by Novahawk. And the top 3 sets of the week were the Power Up Punch, Wish, Return, Mega Kang, the Fat, Max Defense, Max HP, Bold, Choppleberry, Kieran Black, and the number 1 hot set of the week was the Wish, Return, Swords Dance, Licky Licky, that actually netted 2 knockouts. So, yeah, let me know what you guys' opinions are. Let me know if you guys like the ITL Scott Take. Obviously, would like to have some feedback on that. What can I add to this? Maybe another top three of something. Top three. I don't know. I don't want to do anything like you know, mon of the week or top three plays of the week or something that's generic. I'm having fun with this. I think hot three or top three hot sets and the top three worst plays is kind of unique. I don't think you see worst plays a lot. Nobody kind of wants to go over bad plays, and nobody wants to be called out for bad plays. And I'm not throwing any shade at anybody. I think everybody's competent battlers in the league. I think everybody builds pretty well. And obviously there's going to be some bad plays and some plays that just don't work out that could have been a good play. So yeah, let me know what you guys' opinions are. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe, all the good stuff, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching.